Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's open forum. Today we have a very special guest with us. Jen Charisse from Celebration Title Group is here. We had the training a couple weeks ago about social media from some other people of Jen Charisse's team at CTG, Celebration Title Group. So please welcome Jen Charisse today. Jen Charisse, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Ryan, for having us. Good to see everyone virtually. Hopefully I can see you guys in person soon. So I'll just do a quick little intro so you guys can know a little bit more about me. I know you had the pleasure of meeting Erica last month, our Chief Marketing Officer. I hope you guys got a lot of great content from her class last month. And we do a ton of different training on marketing to help you guys with your business. So a little bit about me and my background. I've been with CTG for 5.5 years now. It'll be 6 years in March. Prior to that, I actually was in real estate, just like you guys. So that's how I kind of fell into the industry on accident. I like to say I got my degree in chemistry with planning to be a pharmacist and getting my PhD in that and to help pay through med school. That's why I got into real estate. And then fast forward a little bit, I met Amanda, who is my best friend, and she convinced me to join her on the title world. And if you would have asked me 5 years ago, Jen, do you see yourself in title? I would be like, no way. But now I'm so grateful to be here. And I think everything happens for a reason, right? Having been a realtor for 2.5 years taught me a lot, especially in the role that I'm in now, because I've been in your shoes. Real estate is not as easy as HGTV likes to make it seem, as I'm sure you all are aware, but I've been able to learn and grow to help be the best success partner for all of you guys. So that's just a little bit about me and my background. I would love to connect with you guys individually and dive a little bit deeper to know more about you. But today we're going to kind of go over what I like to call our value vault. So if you've heard of us or worked with us before, the celebration confetti closing experience, I like to say, is just the sprinkle on top compared to all the other tools and resources that we provide to you guys. So I'm just going to kind of touch on that, and then we'll segue into Title 101 as well as how to use our Netsheet. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys really quick. Let me hit present, share screen. All right, I'm so used to Zoom. Give me one moment. Okay. Window, entire screen. Okay, perfect. Share audio, yes. Okay, let me know if you guys can see it. If you can see my screen with a thumbs up. All right. You guys able to see everything? Perfect. And let me hit present here. So I can't see myself, but can you let me know if you see the Value Vault screen? Yes, no?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Okay, perfect. All right, let me go back. Because right now I just see my screen, I can't see myself. But if you guys can see it, good, because I can't see any of you. So welcome to the Value Vault. So this is, again, going to go over everything that we do here. And one thing that we love to say is we see our clients more than just a number. To us, they are an individual story that deserves our full attention. And this is from our founder, Amanda Douglas. And this is just our mission statement here, which is we're experience-driven originals focused on redesigning the closing experience. We are built on passion and purpose, believing in being different, sparking change, and celebrating together. And by utilizing a fresh approach, we are able to bring much needed warmth to the closing process. And we stand out because we truly think in being different. So this is our mission statement and our core beliefs here at Celebration Title Group. And of course, we are the OGs of the confetti closing experience, and really, again, just wanting to take it to the next level for you guys and your clients, because for most people, buying and selling their home is going to be the most, big transaction they have in their life. And we want to make that memorable for them. Even though we do understand that every closing is a happy closing, so of course we will adjust. And these are just some of our closings here. I love that video. And then we're also really big on giving back to our community. So one of our charities that we love to give back are those that are affected with type 1 diabetes. And I always like to kind of take this time to say with you guys, if any of you are big on pouring back into your communities with any charities or foundations that are near and dear to your hearts, definitely let me know, because I'd love to get involved and pour back and collaborate with you guys. If there's something that you're doing with your church, or maybe if you have kids with their, events, really helping you guys get branded out there and then giving back at the same time. That fills my personal cup. And that's the one part that I love about what I do is, not only helping you guys get out there and network with your community, but also making a difference too. And that's something that I love here at Celebration, that we're always wanting to give back. And we're going to touch on this later. So you guys do have access to our Netsheet calculator at your fingertips. As your success partner, I'm always happy to do these for you guys as well. However, if it's late, or maybe you're in that meeting with the seller and you want to play with the numbers in real time, you can go ahead and make your own free account. What I love about this platform is it can be branded to you. So when you go on, you put your headshot or your company logo, all your information, so it looks clean and professional when you are presenting it to your clients. And then I'll go over the features that we have a little bit later in this presentation. So another benefit that we offer is we do what is called at-list title search. So what this means is we don't necessarily have to wait for the executed contract for us to begin our part of the process. We like to be proactive, and if we can save 1 to 2 weeks off the closing timeline to close faster, we want to help you guys and your clients most importantly. And I love that we are able to do this, because if you go on a listing appointment, maybe based off the conversation with your sellers, it sounds like probate may need to be done. You can go ahead and email me and say, hey, Jen, I think probate may need to be done. Before I go ahead and pay for these listing photos, can you do a quick title search? We can go ahead and do that title search and get it back within 72-hour time frame. Sometimes we could do a rush order within 24 to 48 hours, depending on when the request comes in. And we can get that done. And if it comes back saying, hey, hold off on paying for those listing photos, we're gonna have to go through probate, for example. We're gonna need a couple months before we go ahead and list this property. So this is a great option for you guys. I know most title companies don't offer this because it does come at a cost for us. But again, we're all about building and earning the relationship with you guys, most importantly, your clients. So we don't charge anything at all, only if you close with us. So for example, if you do a title search with us and the client says, you know what, I'm going to hold off on listing my property. I'm just going to rent it out, for example. And some title companies will still charge the clients for them performing the services, and we will not. This is just our way, again, of just earning the relationship. And if you and your clients were ever to relist, we hope you would relist with us. But this, to me, I think is one of the biggest value adds that we can provide. And again, there's no upfront cost, only when you close with us. And if we can be proactive and say, hey, finding out if there's an issue now, let's take care of it, as opposed to 3 days before closing, right? So this is a great benefit. Hey, Jen, I have this listing coming up. Can we go ahead and get the title work started? Our team could get that going for you guys. And we do offer our closings at any of our physical locations, but I know everyone loves this technology day and age. So if you have those clients that want to do remote online closings, think of it almost as a Zoom closing. We can do that for you guys. And if you're working with any bilingual clients, such as Spanish or Portuguese, we can perform the closing in those languages as well. So another thing that we have is wire and fraud insurance. So out of everything I'm going to say today, I think this is probably the second most value add that we offer for your clients, is that extra level of protection. Since we are in a technology day and age, what does that mean? More hackers. And I've seen in my last 5 years, this past year, a lot more fraud happening. So this is just an extra level of protection that we have. I wish every title company had this for their clients, but unfortunately they don't have it, because it's, number one, not required by the state for title companies to have this in place. And number two, it's a very expensive insurance policy to have. However, it's worth every penny for us, because again, we are protecting your client's money that is hard to earn, and it should be protected. We cover up to $1 million policy. And if anything does happen, we will be able to take care of them with this. So another thing we did within the past year is we revised our settlement statement with our fees. So we got rid of all of our junk fees. If you looked at a settlement statement or a HUD before, you'll see sometimes they'll charge a courier fee, a holding fee, an admin fee, fees that your clients don't really need to be paying. So we're very upfront with our fees. I will say we aren't the cheapest or most expensive, but we are pretty competitive in the market with where our fees are at because of everything that we provide. However, I don't like to say no. I think no stands for next opportunity. And just like you guys, we work very hard for our business. So if we can make a deal work, let me know. If you have a client that says, hey, I want to use XYZ because their closing fee is cheaper, but maybe they're not going to give the best service and experience, you could come to me and say, hey, Jen, my client wants to use XYZ because their closing fee is a little bit cheaper. You can provide me their net sheet. And oftentimes what I find is, yes, their closing fee is cheaper, but then they have all those extra junk fees and they end up being more expensive, or if not the same price. But 9 times out of 10, I'm always able to match our closing fee because we don't want our clients to not have that experience. So you just let me know and I can go ahead and get that approved. And another thing I want to mention while we're on here, if any of you guys are buying or selling any of your own personal property or even investment property, our little way of saying thank you for being a preferred partner with us, we will actually give 50% off our closing fee for you guys. And if you're ever working with any hometown heroes, such as teachers, nurses, firefighters, veterans, we give $100 off our closing fee. Again, just our small way of saying thank you to our hardworking servicemen and women. Another thing we've added is an easier way for your clients to submit their earnest money deposit. As you know, some banks charge a wire transfer fee, or maybe your clients don't want to come in with a handwritten check. This is just another alternative where they can do it at their own convenience and there's no extra fees involved. Now, Florida is not an attorney state. However, we do have an in-house attorney because we find a lot of our Northeastern clients that are used to, working with attorneys feel more comfortable. Or if any of you guys have any legal questions or need any assistance from an attorney, we can support you guys. If you need any document preparation or anything specific like a post-lease agreement or anything like that, our attorney can assist with that. Since she is in-house, any questions is complimentary, but if you are needing any document preparation or anything like that, there is a small fee, but because she is in-house, it's very discounted. And then, of course, like I mentioned, you guys got to meet Erica last month, she's amazing and can help with all of your marketing support. So I have some example here of pre-templates that she's curated already, which I can send over to you guys. It's a customizable link, so you'll have the graphic, but if you want to change it to your brand colors, all that legwork has been done for you. So if you're not a Canva pro, that's okay. She's done the hard work for you. So if this is something that you guys would love to take advantage of, let me know. Send me an email. I'll share my contact info with you guys at the end, and I can send this over to you guys. We also have things like a home buyer guide, a home seller guide, checklist that you can provide to your clients. Very clean and professional, and again, customizable to your individual brand. And if you need assistance within Canva, let us know because we can set up a one-on-one, or I do have a video tutorial link that I can share with you guys as well. And just like every title company, we can help with mailers. But one thing that I really love is we partnered with this company called Prism. So we also have access to RedX. So if any of you guys like to smile and dial, I like to say we can assist with getting you phone numbers and homeowners' names and addresses for FSBOs, expireds, cancels, withdrawn, and off markets. You just let me know what zip code you're interested in, and I can send that over to you. Now, if you want to take it up a notch, with Prism, you get all that data, but you can also get the email addresses as well. So this is really great if you have a new listing and you want to circle prospect. What a great opportunity. You let me know, give me the address, and I can get up to the closest 50, 100, or 200 homes near your new listing. And you can go ahead and call the neighbors and say, hey, I'm Jen, I'm about to list, Mark and Jill's home, and if you have a friend or a neighbor that maybe is wanting to get into this community, let me know and I'd be happy to help assist, just as an example. There's many ways you can go about it, but I think this information is so valuable and complimentary where you guys can go ahead and have another avenue for prospecting and getting more leads. Now, I know crypto has kind of fallen off, but I did hear in the news that it's starting to pick up again. I personally am not involved in it, but what I do know is if you guys have any clients that are wanting to buy with crypto, we have done that in the past. We are able to do so. So if that's something that you guys have a client that says, hey, can I buy or sell with crypto? We at Celebration Title Group are able to help your clients with that type of transaction. So another thing we did was partner with a company called Close Simple. So we're always looking, how can we take our communication and process to the next level? As our world is changing and the buying age is changing, people communicate in different styles. So with this company, it allows us to make sure we communicate effectively with everyone with whatever their style looks like. So everyone involved in the transaction is not only going to get the phone call updates and the email updates, but they're also going to get a text update as well for where we are in the contract from all the way from the beginning to closing. So everyone knows what's going on as we are headed to the closing table. And I already kind of touched on this. We do have a multilingual staff to help with all of our diverse clients as well. And if you're ever able to come into any of our offices, my home base is here at our downtown location. We have a beautiful confetti cafe. So if you guys want a space to work out of, or maybe you want to bring your clients and have a private meeting, we have private conference rooms. We have a classroom, a training room. If any of you guys want to get out and do some social media, we have a podcast and video studio as well. Our marketing team is located at this downtown location. We're here right off of East Colonial, and we can help you guys with your marketing content. You just let me know what day and time you're looking to come in. We also have a teleprompter, so if you have a script, we can get you set up with that as well. Now, don't take my word for it. Of course, you're going to hear my biased opinion because I work here, but definitely check out our Google reviews where we have over 5 stars, 1,000 reviews from past clients, sellers, buyers, vendor partners. This is also a great resource if you are on that listing appointment and that seller says, I want to use so-and-so title. This is a great opportunity to say, well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, have you ever heard about Celebration Title Group? Let me show you what other past clients and sellers have said when they've closed and worked with us. So just another great resources where you can share with your clients on their experience. So we are big believers that learners are earners. So we do monthly training classes each and every month. I will say, as we're kind of getting ready to go into holiday season, our classes are going to be a little lighter, but don't worry, starting January, we're ramping back up. Actually, a great class, and I'll connect with you, Ryan, afterwards for us to set up is our business planning workshop. I lead that class. I've done business mastery with Tony Robbins. I'm a huge Tony Robbins fan, along with other big people out there such as Tom Ferry, Grant Cardone, those guys, and I've kind of formulated the stuff I've learned from those.
Is everybody frozen or just Jen?
I don't hear anything.
Okay.
I think it's just her.
Yep, she's got a bad connection. All right. No. Yes, hold on. Okay, her computer cut out on her and she's restarting. So, you guys have anything else you want to talk about in the meantime? FRI stuff. She's going to be a few minutes probably. Anybody? Nothing? Awesome. You guys have got it all under control. Let me see. Tammy, yes.
Maybe. So I had a closing, and it was a flip house, and the guy that did the flipping, I think I mentioned this before, was the listing agent. And I guess, and they've had these problems, and a lot of it happened after the hurricane. The roof leaked, the windows leaked. And the guy told me, he goes, they're so lucky to have you, because I mean, so yesterday he texted me the AC is clogged up, that's normal, the drain line, and he's going to get an attorney. But I'm not really sure what my question is. But in a situation like that, after I closed, I kept getting all these, like issues. And at what point do you? I don't like, at what point is it not my responsibility anymore? I mean, it's kind of lagged off.
What do you mean? So your buyer keeps having all these issues with stuff that was not done properly, maybe. And
yes, and that's his perception. Yes, that the guy hid some stuff from him. He's just kind of skeptical. And then like the refrigerator, it was just like all these things. The pool overflowed almost up to their house. The inside of the drywall in the closet was falling down, like after this, like the water leaked maybe through the roof. And he's like, I know he probably knew a lot of this stuff was going on, and I think I may have said, well, I think your only choice is to get an attorney.
That's great. That's exactly their only choice. There's nothing, you don't have any responsibility other than to be, a good agent and good,
I went and bought a 7.5 cubic foot refrigerator that would fit in the back of my SUV, because the refrigerator that the guy bought was brand new and it did not work. It didn't go off of, we got it when it was on a demo mode, which who would think that not having it off of demo mode, which you was supposed to do, but he didn't, and we let it slide. When they took it off of demo mode, it didn't work. So it took us 2 weeks with Samsung coming out there and blah, blah, blah. So that was one of the bigger things, because they didn't have a refrigerator. But I went and got them a little refrigerator and took it to them.
Okay, well, so somebody's got to prove that this guy purposely, he knew this stuff and did not disclose it.
Right.
You can sell a house and they got their inspection, and the roof inspector, somebody came out, inspected the roof and did everything and said it was okay. Unless he's got,
Well, and the bad thing is that they wanted him to do all the repairs from the inspection, which was quite a big list of them. And then they weren't satisfied with the way he did the repairs. So, which I know that you're better off just taking money and fixing it yourself, because you just have less conflict. But in this situation, that's what they wanted to do. And that was kind of part of it too, I think.
Okay. Well, I don't know. They can sue him with a lawyer. There's not much that you can do.
Yeah.
I'm just, my personal opinion, I'm not a lawyer, and even a lawyer wouldn't know the answer to this, is what they can prove. I mean, just, how are you going to prove that the seller knew these things and did not disclose?
Right.
And obviously he probably did not fill out a seller's disclosure because he never lived there. He just went in there but he should have known all these things, and he had to disclose anything of material value. So I don't know what to tell you other than to let the lawyer handle it. Keep being supportive, and they're going to, the lawyer is going to, if it goes anywhere, they're going to subpoena you for all your records and all that stuff. So just have all that stuff available, and they're going to subpoena us as well if it goes that far.
Yeah,
and
I don't know that he has.
An attorney may tell them, like, we can't prove anything,
Exactly.
Or they may, spend some money of your client's money and say, we'll subpoena his records and see what we get. But you're only going to get what he shows.
Right.
So it would be tough. I mean, the way people get caught, really about the only way they get caught, is if you call out a roofer and he says, oh yeah, I was already out here for this guy. And yeah,
right.
He decided not to fix it right before he sold it. That kind of thing, which happens. I get those calls from you guys.
Yeah.
Any other, does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Ryan, is there a deadline for us to sign on the FRI form?
No, you can do it anytime. But once you're on there, you have to join the MLS immediately. We actually they're making us fill out application, to make you fill out an application. So that's part of your package that we send you to join.
Okay.
Is to fill out an application to join the MLS. I don't know why they make you join it. You're just moving to another brokerage that already is an MLS member. So they make you do that. So we put that in the package now. We figured that out later.
Okay, well that answers my question. If I'm not wanting to subscribe yet, should I do it now or should I wait?
Do it whenever you need the MLS. If you're not already a board member. But those of you who are moving over, most of you have already done it because you've had to either pay your board. If you're in, at least if you're in Aura, you've already moved because you didn't want to pay the board. As some of your other boards come due, we have people all over. You know, we're members of 23 boards, so we have people all over. If you guys are, when your board wants to renew and you don't want to, then you can do that. Hope that answers your question about that. Yes, Ms. Lucero. You got handled yesterday, right? You got all your paperwork? You should be good. If not, send me another message. Okay, good. Juan.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Last time that you had the meeting, I got really confused because you were talking about a section in the listing agreement. The thing is that I was using the vacant land listing agreement, and I think they just uploaded a new one in November.
We talked about that. We just did it. Yeah, we just talked about it last week.
Yeah, so just to be 100% sure, on item 8, that's where we put in letter A the percentage plus, you know, whatever it is. And in 10, is it like the same thing, or I'm still confused about when to put broker pay to buyer's agent or when seller pays to buyer's agent?
Number 10, it depends on who's paying it. So in 8, if we're doing it how we've done it traditionally, if your seller's like, yeah, we'll pay, 2.5%, 3%, then you just put 5 or 6 or whatever in 8, just like you did before. And then 10A will be where you put the part you're offering the other side of that. So if it's 5 and you're doing 2.5, or 6, you're doing 3, whatever it is, right? Whatever those numbers are. That would be A, is how we used to do it. B is if the seller says, I want to negotiate the commission as we come. And you say, well, we'll negotiate mine now, so I'm getting 3%. And then we'll we'll negotiate commission with the offer later. That's 10B. And then you put that. Maybe they're offering, in that case, they're probably not going to have a set number. And so you'll check 10B and say, see additional terms. And additional terms, you'll say, seller will decide when seller will negotiate with buyer when the offer comes in. Okay. And then that's what you say when I call to see your listing and I say, what compensation are you offering? And you're going to say, it depends on the offer. The seller will negotiate it with the offer. And I say, okay. And then when I write my offer, I put my commission in there.
Okay. Is 10A, B, and C any relationship with 8A, B, C?
No, just use 8A is where you do the sales commission.
Okay.
B and C are for renting and other stuff. Okay. So 8A is where you do the sale commission.
Okay, because I don't have any options in 10 to select. I guess I just, normally they have like a little box or something. I just put a circle around the A or B, or.
But what do you mean? There's a box
Like
to check.
10A, normally they have boxes to check. It's a seller may, but is not required to compensate a buyer's broker upon closing. And B says may choose to enter into a separate agreement.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not looking at the same formula. I'm not looking at any form. I wasn't prepared for this. So
No.
Let's get back to this after Jen's done. Jen is back. Jen, you want to? Yeah, we'll get back to this. I'll get it prepared on my screen. Jen, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay.
Apologies about that. My computer decided to restart on me in the middle of the presentation. Technology is great, isn't it? Well, I'm going to pull this up again for you guys. But great questions. I was listening to that. Very good stuff with all these changes. All right, let me come back to here. Okay, share. Perfect. And now let me go to this window. All righty. The fun of real estate. We always got to be pivoting, right?
Yeah, you're good. You're good to go. Looking good.
Okay. Okay, you guys can see everything? Good. All right. So I touched on this, and then I'll show you guys our university platform. So as I mentioned, we go a little lighter on the classes, with the holidays coming up. However, if you guys are over ambitious and taking this winter arc season to really go all in to be ahead instead of everyone else that starts on January 1st, we do have our on-demand university platform. So we call it celebrateyouonline.com. And again, I'll show it to you guys, the website after this presentation. So if you want to go in and maybe you have some extra time to do some more training, we have different classes on there that we've recorded from the past, such as how to get more listings, Title 101, which, we're going to go over that too. How to use our Netsheet. So when I go through our Netsheet and maybe you forget a step that I kind of went over, you can go on this platform and go at your own learning pace. They're all broken up into different modules. So it's at your own speed. It kind of reminds me of a Peloton. I have one. I don't know if you guys have one. I've heard about it, but it's at your own speed. You go on the class that you want. So very similar concept, which I love. And it has everything from not only just real estate, but marketing as well, because marketing is so important for our businesses. Because you guys are the brand, right? So if you want to know how to, get more comfortable with Instagram and setting up a business page or utilizing Canva, things like that, we have those classes on there for you too. And we did start in the town of Celebration. So a little back history on us. I didn't touch on this in the beginning, but we were created 8 years ago, 8.5 years ago now, actually. And we did start in the town of downtown Celebration, but we've really expanded to not the towning, but really wanting to give that celebration experience. So we've now expanded throughout the state. So we are in all these locations here. So we go as far up as Daytona Beach, Dr. Phillips, New Smyrna Beach, Tampa, Winter Haven, Altamont Springs, Claremont, my old hometown, downtown Orlando, where the sales and marketing hub is. That's where I am right now. Fort Myers, Melbourne, Ocala, and Oviedo. And if you guys aren't able to close at any of these physical locations, as I mentioned in the beginning, we can set up that mobile notary for your clients and or even do the remote online notarization. And another thing about us, because I know some title companies operate differently, if your clients want, maybe the buyers want to close at the Claremont location and the sellers want to close at the downtown location because it's more convenient for them, the clients don't need to close at the same office. So that's something else that we can help with you guys as well. And then this is my contact information here. If you guys want to go ahead and scan that, that is my personal cell. And again, I'll have a nice follow-up email for you with everything that I said. So if you forgot what I mentioned, that's okay. I know it's probably so early for some of you, but I have a nice Value Vault flyer sheet that will bullet point all the tools and resources that I touched, plus a little bit more, because we're always adding different things as this market is ever evolving. So if there is something that maybe I did not mention, but you've heard, from out in the field that, you're getting that kind of support, or you've heard of this new tool, let me know, because I'm always going back to my leadership and say, hey, how can we incorporate this tool, or how can we do this? Because I'm really here to help you guys in your success, because if you're winning, we're winning. So I'm always wanting to be innovative and see how we can create more opportunities for all of us. So again, that's my personal cell. Feel free to call or text me. We do, since we are in the financing industry, we do work big hours, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. However, like I mentioned, I understand real estate is not 9 to 5. So you guys can text me on the weekend or after hours, and I will do my best to get back to you within the hour. So I'm always here to support you with whatever your needs may be. And that is the wrap up of our Value Vault. So now I'm going to share with you guys our Netsheet. But before I do so, I want to show you real quick our university platform. So you'll just go to celebrateyouonline.com and you'll create, this is a free account, you have free access to this. And this is where you're going to have all of our classes from business development, social media, branding. These are all our different courses here. I know Morgan and Erica went over the marketing class with you last week. If any of you guys, or not last week, last month, if any of you didn't make it to last month meeting for that training, that's okay. You can go to this website, Celebrate You, and check out the class that they taught for you guys. So this is everything that we have here. I'll just kind of show you. If you want to get more well-versed on how to operate with FERPTA transactions, we have a class on that, get more listings, understanding the title commitment. So when we send it back to you guys, of course, our team is always happy to communicate this with your clients. But if you guys want to increase, your knowledge and being that expert advisors that you all are, you do have the opportunity to learn more about that. And these are just more of our other classes. And we are incorporating more bilingual classes, so classes in Spanish as well. So for any of my Spanish speakers out there, we do have those classes coming out. So this is just an example of all the classes that we're adding and continuing to add. So again, if there's a topic that maybe you want to know more about, just let me know and I can find someone to record and or teach it for us. I know AI is very big right now. We did a great training the other day with Nick Krem, who is big in the AI space with real estate specifically. So that class is going to be added on here too. And before I jump into our net sheet, does anyone have any questions for me on what I just went over? Or are we ready to jump in on how to use our net sheet?
We have a question in chat. Does the Claremont location have the video studio or only in downtown?
Only the downtown at this time. Yes. But
Awesome.
we do have a training room and an extra conference room. So if you want to come in and, meet with clients or maybe just have a quiet space to work out of for, free coffee and free Wi-Fi, you are able to do so. So just let me know in advance and we can reserve the room for you. And where our Claremont office is located, if you know where the brand new Costco is, right off of 50, we're right across the street. So we're in that business complex that's next to the Dunkin' Donuts, if you're familiar where Claremont is.
I'm familiar with that area. I was just wondering, the Claremont location also has open offices for agents to use too, or is it smaller?
It is smaller, but we
Then-
do have an open office that you can use. Yes. So if you're
Okay.
wanting to come in and just kind of do some work, again, just shoot me an email or text and then I'll reserve it for you.
Okay. And then also about the social media that you went over, are those open for all agents to use those templates, or how do we access those?
Yep. So I'll go ahead and send you a link so all agents have access to it. And what I love about our links is you have the option to edit. So if you maybe want to change the colors, because right now it's all branded to our colors, or maybe you want to change a little bit of the graphic, but most of the legwork is done for you. That's the tedious part that our team took care of. You can do that too. So I can send you, if you're interested in those templates, again, just send me an email and I'll forward that all over to you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Nope. All right. So
Well, I have a question. Is the
Yeah.
Claremont office, you said, is across, is it by the place where the Dan Lulin law attorney's office is? Is it there?
it's a different attorney, not Dan Lunan. So do you know where the brand new Costco is off of 50? We're right across the street. So right across the street, you'll see the Dunkin' Donuts, and then there's another business complex. We're in that business complex on the top floor.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dawn, it is close to Dan Newland's office, or where it was.
Okay.
I don't know if it's still there.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I used to live in Claremont. I moved there from Miami back in 2000 and, grew up there and then left. And now I go back quite often. My family still lives there. So it's changing a lot. All right.
For sure.
Okay. Any other questions?
I just have a question, but I think you're about to get to it. What's the best and fastest and least painful way to get a net sheet is a question I have from someone.
Okay. Least painful way, just shoot me a text. That would be the fastest and easiest. Or if you want to go on our website, which I'll go through right now, you have full access to calculate it yourself. But if you're busy or on the road or, on your way to an appointment, fastest other option, text me. And again, I'll share all my contact info with you guys. Just give me the address, the price, what the realtor commissions are going to be, if you charge a transaction fee, if there is a mortgage payoff. If you guys don't know that, that's okay. That's just the information I need. And then I can get the HOA and taxes on my own, and then I'll submit that over to you guys. So that would be the next best fast way. All right. So to access our net sheet, you would just go to celebrationtitlegroup.com. That's our website right here. We aren't in the App Store yet, but how you guys would have it look like an app on your phone, whether you have iPhone or Android, you would just go to your mobile browser that you use. For iPhone users, I like to use Safari and or Google. So same thing, you'll just go on to your mobile app, type in the website, and then when you are on the website, it gives you an option to bookmark the page. So essentially it'll show up as an app on your phone. So you'll do this one time, and then once you're logged in, when it shows up as the app icon, anytime you go onto your phone, you'll click that and it'll work like an app where you can calculate the net sheet. Now, if you're on your desktop, another little pro tip for you guys, you'll do this process once. So you'll go to celebrationtitlegroup.com. You'll scroll down. This is Amanda right here. If you guys have never met her before, and you'll just go to our closing cost calculator. And then it's going to redirect you. So this will pop up if you haven't had it before. So you'll hit that star icon on your mobile browser. You can see I have mine already set up. So you'll go ahead and click that. So instead of having to go into each, typing in Celebration Title Group, scrolling down to Open Close Calculator, you do it one time. And once you do that, you'll bookmark it. So every time you log in, you'll be on this page every single time. So I'll pop you here. You go to Seller Net Sheet. And does anyone have a property they would like me to use for them for today? Or I can just make up one. Does anyone have an address they want to utilize? If not, I'm just going to start typing away.
22.
Which one is it?
2241 Bluefish Place.
You said Bluefish?
Yes.
All right, Geneva, Florida. And you'll see it'll automatically populate for you. And then what I'll go ahead and do is copy that and then hit paste. And then it's going to ask you for which branch. You're going to pick Celebration Title Group. You'll see here we do have, our South Florida, West Florida, Winter Haven, Brevard. You want to make sure you click Celebration Title Group. If you are in those other markets, just let us know, because we did adjust our closing fee based off of what is comparable to those market fees, because they are a little bit different. If you're used to working in South Florida, it's like the Wild Wild West. It's very different from Central Florida, and hence why we have those different branches, because we do adjust to those markets. For the sales price, what's the sales price going to be? I'm not sure who spoke on
385. 385.
Okay. So 385. Now it will automatically populate 30 days out from when you're inputting the data. I always like to double check it because sometimes it'll fall on a weekend. And as I mentioned before, we work bank hours, so we aren't doing fun days. So if it falls on a Saturday, Sunday, you could just move it to a Friday or that next Monday. Of course, if you do know when the closing date is, you can put it specifically so that way you get more accurate figures, since the numbers will be prorated. The next thing it's going to ask is additional transaction details. So we have it at default already. If you know your client has bought and is selling their home within the 3 years or less, they will automatically receive that discount on the title insurance. If you don't know, that's okay. It's always better to just put no, and then you guys look like the superstar when it comes back less, right? Your client's getting more money or they're saving money. So I always say just leave no if you're not sure. I can always look it up too. So if I'm calculating the net sheet, I can see if they've bought or sold. So I will apply that. And then if it was yes, you would just put the prior policy amount, and what that amount is what they previously closed at the home. So for example, let's say they bought the home 2 years ago at $300,000, you would change this to yes, and then you would put $300,000 if that's what they closed at. So that's what that part means. So for this example, we're just going to leave it as no. If there's any special circumstances, let's say this client is a veteran, as I mentioned in the past or earlier in the presentation, we would give a $100 discount. So this is where I would adjust that fee for the client and put the $100 discount if they were a hometown hero. And if there's a mortgage payoff, if you do have that information, this is where we'll put it. If they have a second payoff, we would put that amount here. Again, if you guys don't know the information up front, that's okay. We can always revise it later. Now the realtor commission. So I know there's been a lot of changes with this. Now you can have the option of doing it in percent and or dollar amount. So you can change that there. For this example, what do we want to put for the agent compensation?
2.5.
2.5 for each side. Okay. And is there a transaction fee?
350.
Okay. Now, if you guys are doing any seller concessions, you do have the option to put that in here as well. The next tab is going to be the homeowners association dues. And you can see here you have the different options in putting that amount in and then what the amount is. The next question is going to be, did the seller pay current paid dues? Yes or no? Again, I always like to put no, because if for whatever reason the closing gets extended into the new month, oftentimes what we find is because we know we're going to get ready to close, the seller won't pay it because they'll just take it out of the seller proceeds. So I always like to put no. But if you, again, every situation is different. If you know they did pay it, of course, you can put that in there as well. And if their HOA has any transfer fees, I know some communities do, we can put that there. And then the next is going to be the taxes. You can put the amount and I'll calculate it for you in percent. Where you guys would get the taxes is the county website. I know sometimes some agents put it on Zillow as well, but the best place is going to be the county appraiser site for this to get the most accurate figures. And if there's any other seller expense or credits, maybe seller is going to assist with concessions, helping with buyer closing costs. You can put that there. Or maybe they're going to be receiving a credit. You can change it and put what the amount and description is here. So this is the basic information that you'll need. Once we have all the details in here, you'll go ahead and hit calculate. And you'll see that it will generate the net sheet. So you'll see what the seller is going to net based off of the sales price. You'll see our closing fee along with the owner's title insurance. And every title company, the owner's title insurance is going to be the same no matter where you close, because it's a promulgated rate for the state of Florida. So if they say, oh, well, my title insurance was cheaper at XYZ title company, it's going to be the same. If it does show up cheaper, perhaps they put maybe the homeowner bought and sold their home within less than 3 years, so they applied that reissue credit. So that is, it's going to be the same for us as well. So I would go back in and apply that. Then you'll see the municipal lien search, which is based off of each county. The recording and transfer fees, if there was a loan payoff. We'll see the realtor commissions here. And then, of course, I didn't put it in, but you would also then see the prorated property taxes as well. And I know we're getting a lot of questions because we are in tax season and we have the trim notice. And I'm sure if any of you have closed already, they're like, well, my seller already paid for the year. What does that look like? So what would end up happening is your client is only paying from January up to the day of closing. So they will be getting a credit back since they paid for the whole year from the buyer from, let's say, November 13th to December 31st. So they would get reimbursed for that, because I know there's a lot of questions on that right now. And we're always happy to explain that to your clients too. So they're only paying for the time that they lived in the home. And once everything looks good, then you'll go ahead and just hit download. And when you guys go in and make your own account, you'll be able to have your information. So right now you see my information, but once you create your own account, you can have your company name, logo, your information if you want to add your headshot. And this is what it's going to look like. So very professional, clean for your clients. Another thing I like to notate here is it says it already here on the disclaimer, but when you are presenting this with your clients, it is always good to have them initial it and let them know this is an estimate. Of course, when we get closer to closing, they'll have more of the exact figures, but we want to make sure we're educating our clients and letting them know this is an estimation and it can change based off of different variables such as when we closed and different things that happen. So that way they don't get stuck on, oh, this is the exact number I'm going to be receiving at closing. So that's just another little pro tip for you guys, because I've been to a closing where the agent didn't come to closing and the seller said, that's not what my agent told me I'm going to close. It was this amount. And we had to go back and say, well, this little part right here, this is a disclaimer that it can change based off of different variables, of course. So that is the basic how to do our net sheet. I just want to show you guys real quick the other options that you have within our Netsheet calculator here is, of course, a title quote. If you need a loan estimate, I do advise going through your preferred lender because our loan estimate is general fees based off the market. Each lender has their own specific fees. So if you want a more accurate, I would definitely suggest going through their calculator because we can do the buyer estimates too. But one thing that I love to touch on is our seller multiple offers. This is something that was recently added where if you want to have multiple offers, so you have one offer at 350, another offer, let's say at 400, and you can add as many as you like. That way when you're presenting to your sellers, yes, this offer might be higher, but this offer is asking for more seller concession. So it's very clean and concise when you are showing it to your clients and in one page document instead of having multiple different net sheets. So this is another great option that I enjoy, especially because if we're working for this example, 350, 400, 450, it sounds like a $50,000 difference. But again, since title insurance is a promulgated rate based off the price, the numbers are not going to be exactly 50,000 difference. It's going to be a little off because of the proration. So that's something else I wanted to touch on. If your clients are used to seeing it in an Alta form instead of this, download document here, you can have it in an Alta settlement statement form as well. We do have a rent versus buy option here too. Another thing we have is sell to net. So maybe you're on that listing appointment and the seller says, you know what, I don't care what you sell my house for, I just want to make 100,000. So this is basically an option to work backwards. So instead of putting, you're not sure what to list the price out, but you know what the seller wants to net, you can put that plus all the other information that's similar to the example I showed, and it will generate the net sheet for you backwards based off of what the seller's net proceeds goal is. So another great option for you guys to work with, and it basically works backwards from what we just did. So that is how you guys access our Netsheet calculator. Again, as your success partner, I'm always happy to do this for you too, but I always like to educate my agents that you guys do have access to this. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can always go back to our university platform and of course, always call me too. Does anyone have any questions on that? Let's see. All right, Juan.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. I have a question. The settlement fee. Let's say the seller pays title. Is the settlement fee 50% for the buyer and 50% for the seller, or you put everything towards the person that is paying for the title?
So that our closing fee is just for the seller. So the buyer is going to have their own set of closing fees. So for the buyers, it's going to be different. If it's cash, it's cheaper. Where if it's finance, it's going to be a little bit more just because there's more process and paperwork involved. And I am able to do a buyer estimate where you can see what their fee is at. But they will have their own separate fee. So that $595 that you saw in that example is all for the seller.
So in the contract where we put seller pays title fees or title cost, the buyer is also expected to pay some of the buying costs?
They are only going to be paying for a transaction fee from us. They're not paying anything in regards to the title insurance. That's all going to be on the seller.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the settlement part. Like the $595 for the seller, they have to pay a similar portion on the buyer side.
They'll have not of that $595. That's that whole 100%. Let me go back here. So all this on the title and settlement charges, this is all for the seller. So the buyer is going to have their own fee. So if it's a finance, their closing fee is $695 if it's with financing. If it's cash, it's going to be a different figure. So, but they don't pay the title insurance. So this is just.
Okay.
I can do a buyer estimate if you'd like.
It was because I've seen it both ways. I've seen title companies where when you say the seller pays title closing, all the settlement fees goes to the seller. And if it's buyer, it goes all to the buyer. And I've seen it where some title companies break it down into a portion of each.
And we can do that. And that's actually very more common in South Florida. We call that like a split closing. Typically, we don't like to go that way because there's more hands in the transaction, and if there's more hands touching the file, there's can be more room for human error, right? So ideally, we like to facilitate both sides. However, in the past, and if people are, again, in those markets that are used to split closings, we can accommodate for that. I've also seen where especially my newer agents that are working predominantly with buyers, where they want to close with us and they've been able to communicate with the listing agent because they don't have a preferred title company, and they'll call me and they'll say, hey Jen, I just got this new deal. I'm actually on the buy side of the transaction. However, the listing agent didn't have a preferred title company and they agreed to use you, but still have the sellers pay for the title insurance. So that's something else that you guys can, do as well, because everything's negotiable within the contract, right? Because that's happened in the past before. I've also seen where the buyers, they want to use their title company and they're okay with paying, the title insurance and the seller fees. So it really just depends on each client and what they're comfortable with. And if we need to do split closing, we can. We don't love to, but again, it's what the customer wants. And we're very open to working with their style. And I've also seen where seller pays, but maybe they don't want to pay the title insurance and they want the buyers to pay half of that. We can set that up if we need to as well and adjust it in the settlement statement. But traditionally for our market here in Central Florida, what the norm is the seller picks and pays. Whereas in South Florida, buyer chooses and seller still pays, and or buyer chooses and pays. It just kind of depends from each contract. Does anyone else have any other questions for me?
Jen, I have a question. Do you have you heard agents talk about maybe doing a couple of scenarios about what when they present to sellers when they go in for a meeting with sellers, a listing appointment, that they maybe do a couple scenarios of different closing dates and different prices and different net. I do like that seller net function as well because you get a lot of that, what do I have to sell it for to net this much? And we also have some who have, they're close. They don't know if they need to short sale or what. And, what do I need to sell it for to meet what I owe the bank?
Exactly.
And that's a great scenario. This is less of a question and more of just pointing this out to the agents that they can do all these things. And I think it's a really good thing to do to take to a listing appointment.
100%. And what I found in my experience and over the years, and, I'm a huge person that loves to pour into education so I can take back and share with you. And what I've learned, and I actually got this from Tom Ferry, where it's good to give your clients 3 options, right? What's worst case scenario, middle ground, and best case scenario, right? And providing, because again, you guys are the expert advisors and they're entrusting you. So you give them the 3 different options, or 4 options, whatever. You have all the tools to give them as many options, but I think 3 is the best, right? Here's worst case, middle case, best case. And that way you're educating them to make the best choice for what's best for them, right? And this is what it could look like if, okay, this is their bottom line. This is what they're going to walk away with. This is middle ground, and this is best case scenario. And that way you're providing all the facts and information to your clients so they can make the best educated guess. This is also a great tool where, you have that conversation with your client and say, hey, if we're not getting any activity within the first 2 weeks of us listing, let's get back to the drawing board and talk about other options. And we're still within the parameters of not going, past your bottom line, because Mr. and Mrs. Seller, on that listing appointment, you told me this is, your threshold. We haven't made that past that threshold. And, it's just opening up that conversation with your client. And I think it's good to give them that info and that data based off the, the tools that you guys have available. And you're setting them up with the proper expectations. So I think going with 3 options is better. And it helps your clients, know where they're going within the transaction and what to hopefully expect. I mean, real estate can always change, right? The market's always changing, but I think for you guys as the experts, it's good to give them the options and the information, and that way they know what to expect.
Yeah, and they get to see that keeping it on the market longer not only devalues it with in the eyes of buyers, but also the prorated taxes go up and all that stuff as well.
Exactly. And it lets them know, okay, what, and that's, when you are on these appointments, finding out what is their goal, right? Are they okay with keeping it on the market a little longer? But if they're keeping it on the longer, yeah, they're hoping to get a higher price, but how much are they losing because they're still paying for the bills and the mortgage and all that, right? So showing them the numbers, will put it into perspective of, okay, you say you have time, but you want to make this net, where can we meet in the middle, right?
Right.
So that's why having, the multiple offers is really, I personally love it because it gives a clear picture of what for the seller to expect. And numbers don't lie, right? So here are the numbers for the clients. It helps take the emotion a little bit out of it so they can make the best educated guess.
Yeah, and you guys ask how you can stand out from the crowd when you go in for a listing appointment. This is one of those ways. You're all going to go in with the same CMA, the same paperwork. You got it from the same RPR and the same comps. But now you can go in with saying this is, and people, not everybody's a real estate expert, and people need to see what they can sell for because they've heard stories of, I thought this much, I was going to get this much, and then I only got this much. They need to see those numbers, and this helps cement you as an expert in the business too.
100%, exactly.
Awesome. Any other questions for Jen Charisse? All right. Well, Jen Charisse, thank you so much for coming in.
Of course.
Your halftime that you took.
No, I'm so great to meet everyone. And another thing I forgot to mention, because I know investors are kind of picking up again, we are investor friendly. So if you have clients that need to do A to B, B to C type of closings, we can adjust. And if we're doing like a double closing or assignments or anything like that, we can do a discount. So that's something I always kind of forget to mention. We have our own closing department that works solely with investors because those transactions can be very different. Same thing with FERPTA or international clients. We are able to facilitate those closings too. Having started in celebration, very diverse, a lot of investors, 70% of our business was working with investors. So if any of you guys, if that's your niche, we can help. And we also have a commercial division too. So I have a closing team that specifically works with commercial. So I don't know if any of you guys are in that space, but we don't just do residential. A lot of people think that is our only thing, but we really do have a great, well-versed team that can work in any of your specific niches that you guys, focus on. So I want to touch on that too. But thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you, Ryan. I hope to see all of you guys in person, hopefully soon. But if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm going to follow up with my personal phone number. And again, just everything that I kind of touched on today. But if you guys have nothing else for me, I wish you guys nothing but a blessed, magical day, and let's keep crushing it.
All right. Thank you very much, Jen Charisse. Are you going to put your stuff in the chat?
Yes, I could put it in the chat. Let's see, where is this?
Thank you so much.
Of course. Let me hit stop presenting.
It's a little quote thing in the bottom right.
Okay, see. I'm so used to Zoom. I'm like, this one's different. All right, perfect. So Jen Charisse, you guys can call me Jen for short because I know it's a long name. And then here is my phone number and my email. So it's spelled like Jen Charisse, but pronounced Jen Charisse. Celebration. All right, there you guys go. There's my info. And if you aren't following us on social media, be sure to do so at Celebration Title Group. That's where we're going to post all our news updates. We do different promotions every once in a while. So definitely check us out. You'll see some funny reels from Erica. She's always grabbing us in to do some fun trending reels. But again, if you guys need any support at all, I am your success partner. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thanks, Jen Charisse. Have a great day.
You too.
All right, guys. Let me answer Juan's question here. I am going to, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I really wanted to see how you can pull a net sheet. You don't have to have the title company get back with you and all that stuff. Sometimes they're not always timely. They're busy, especially if you try to do it at the end of the month on a Friday or something like that. So they got closings everywhere. So hopefully you guys got something out of that. and you can go pull your own net sheets and stuff like that. But one thing you do need to do when you present a net sheet, you need to make sure that the seller knows these are approximate numbers. There's absolutely no way they can know all the numbers, how they're going to be when closing comes. So, you know, I always put in capital letters, these are just approximations. These are just an estimate. But it gives them a pretty good idea what they need to sell for to get to a certain point, or what they're going to get, because this is what their property's worth, what they can expect to walk with. So we really appreciate that. Thank you to her. She's gone. I don't know why I'm thanking her. All right. So you guys, you asked this question, Juan. You are on the new vacant land one. That is why this A, B, and C thing did not make sense. The regular listing agreement does not have these. It has this in a big, it's all part of number 9, which is now Commercial Real Estate Sales Commission Lien Act. That's completely different. On the regular listing agreement for residential, these are all a big disclosure on number 9. And 10 just starts where 10C starts, which is on a regular listing agreement. This is A, B, and C, and it's exactly what it says. I don't know why we would ever use number 2 here. I told you guys this when we did the residential one. If the seller knows what they're going to do, why wouldn't they just put here's 8, right? If they're going to offer 2.5%, and you 2.5 and them 2.5, just put 5 is typically what you would do, and then just do 2.5 here on line 145. You do the 2.5, right? If it's 2.5, after you do the 5 here, or 6 and 3, whatever it is. Okay, now if you're not going to do that, I don't know why you'd ever do this and pay you 2.5 and then that. But don't put 5 here and then 2.5 here, because you've just committed your seller to 7.5, which they're never going to do because they did not agree to it. If they say, I'll give you 2.5, or I'll give you, let's say they'll give you 3. Well, I'll say 2.5. And then they're going to come down here and say, and it depends on what the other side offers. I would like to go ahead and do this and put C additional terms. Okay. Well, I don't know why it's not. Oh, that only wants a number there. So we can write that by hand, or just seller offer authorized broker to communicate seller's offer of compensation. And the amount of it's not going to let me do any letters here. It will. TBD. Okay. And then go in additional terms and put that the seller wants to negotiate. If you do this, the seller signs off on that, then I cannot tell anybody that the seller will negotiate. Okay. Unless I put it in the additional terms. So you can just do this and put it in the additional terms also. Seller will negotiate compensation with buyer broker. Okay. Or you can do that. Or if the seller says, I'll do 1% if they offer me this much and 2% if they offer me this much, this is where you put that. Okay. Seller will offer buyer's broker compensation of 2.5% of full price offer, or 1.5% if less than full price offer. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? I can really only see Tammy's head. So Tammy, nod if that's good. Okay. Juan, if you have any questions, now would be the time to ask them. I hope you're still here. Any other questions on this? This is the one they just came out with last month, 11/2024. They just came out. We just talked about it last week or the week before, how they came out with these new forms. I think it was last week. So do we have any other questions on that before we go? Any other questions on anything before we go? Those of you doing the Thompson brokerage, we are also getting your own, you're going to be moved to a different paperless pipeline. Michaela will get you all the information you need. You'll still have your same email, and she will get you, you probably have to do a new password and stuff like that. We have to have a completely separate system for that. It is a separate brokerage, but it's all FRI. And you'll still be dealing with myself and with Michaela and with Michelle and with everybody in the office. All right.
Ryan?
Yes, Vivian.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry. You just said something and it triggered a question. What about accessing our old files? Like if we helped somebody in the past.
Oh, you'll have access to both.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Until all those are completely finished and whatever. But I don't know why you wouldn't have access to both. We just don't want you. We would like to cut off your old access if you're not working any of those files anymore, because you are, I don't want you to be confused and start a new transaction in there. We have to keep all the funds and all the paperwork separate.
Okay, then maybe just a small grace period to review our old files and see.
Yeah, you can download them and you can with one click you can email them to yourself. You
Okay.
can click you can click all the paperwork and send it in a separate email that you'll have on your own computer for separate email for every transaction. It'll have all the paperwork right there. So you save those to your computer, but I leave them in your email so you can always access them even if your motherboard goes out or whatever.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Any other questions? All right, got nothing in chat. You guys, thank you so much for coming today. I hope you guys got something out of that. That was, if nothing else, a great way to make sure that I want to make sure that you understand the settlement statement, understand the net sheet, and understand how to get one quickly for your clients. And it is, when you're going to a listing agreement, it is great to go in with some net sheets with different prices and different closing dates. I would take all different, like she said, the scenarios on the pricing and all that stuff. If they can't do this, they want to list for this, but you think it's worth that. And maybe you're going to settle on this other price. But also go in with if we don't close until March, because we keep this property on the market with November, we keep it on 3 months until February, and we close in March, you're going to owe this much. First of all, you're going to have to pay this year's property taxes, or if they're part of your mortgage, that's going to go up. You're going to keep paying your mortgage this many months. You'll owe 3 months again on next year's property taxes, et cetera, right? So all the expenses go up, as we know. When we own a house, they go, you pay more and more as you go. So the sooner you sell it, the better. And honestly, if we list it for $529 instead of the $499 that it's worth, we're going to waste some time, and in a nice way. We let them know that, right? And these are the different scenarios of possibly how much it's going to cost you to shoot for the stars on this listing. Viv, you have another question?
Are we meeting the Wednesday before Thanksgiving?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
What's that, 2 weeks? Yeah, probably. I mean, I'll be working that day. So yeah, we'll have a meeting. All right. I appreciate everybody. Thank you very much. I'm glad you guys got something out of it. And I look forward to seeing you soon. See you next week. Bye, everybody.